Today on the show, I want to share with you how my asthma changes with the seasons. Depending on what season we're going into and what state or part of the world that you live in, you may find that your experience is similar or it could be vastly different from me. I invite you to comment if you're watching this on YouTube, or send me an email with your comments, johnny@athletewithasthma.com, and let me know how your asthma is affected by the seasons throughout the year. Let's start with spring. Spring equals outdoor allergies. And when I was a kid, I actually didn't think I had outdoor allergies, or at least I wasn't aware of it. But now that I'm very attuned with my body and even the littlest things I can tell, outdoor allergies hit me most springs. Now in Colorado, it's typically late spring, early summer. But to simplify things, spring is really about managing outdoor allergies. Well, what I have found is that my outdoor allergies are worse when I am eating unhealthy, when I am putting foods and substances in my system that create inflammation. This could be dairy, this could be sugar, alcohol, you name it, fried food, whatever causes inflammation in your system, when you feel more stuffiness, more congestion, when you feel different things in your body that alert you that there's more inflammation. If you pay close enough attention, you'll see what happens when these substances and foods enter your body. When you compound this with irritants caused by outdoor allergies, your allergies can actually be worse if your diet's worse. So in the spring, I like to eat cleaner than the rest of the year. Now I try and eat pretty clean throughout the year, but I really decrease my dairy to basically zero, decrease my sugar as much as possible. I don't really drink anymore. And fried food, I try to decrease as much as possible as well. The less inflammation in your system, the less histamines in your system, and histamines are basically chemicals that your body produces to fight off irritants like outdoor allergies, inflammation from dairy, sugar, alcohol, fried foods, all these things. So if you keep compounding the histamines in your body with your diet and your outdoor allergies, with your food sensitivities and your outdoor allergies can be much worse, making your asthma much worse. So biggest takeaway for spring is decrease inflammatory foods and substances in your body, and your outdoor allergies may not go away, but at least for me in my life, the impact of my outdoor allergies has decreased greatly, meaning that the impact that the spring has on my asthma has decreased greatly. Now remember, I'm not a healthcare professional. I have a disclaimer in the show notes and the description below this video. Next, summer. Well, in Colorado, summer equals wildfires, smoke. For me, depending on when everything blossoms, the beginning of summer can also equal allergies. But for the most part, I need to be mindful of smoke. I try my best every single day before I go outside to open my phone, go to my weather app. There are better indexes to look at, but on your weather app, you can see the air quality index for the day. And if it tells you that you shouldn't be outside because of how high the air quality index is, you probably shouldn't go outside. Spend less time outside, or put a bandana on, something for you to breathe through. This is important if you have asthma or not, because smoke is really bad for your lungs. What this looks like to me is during the summer, if I go out for a run, even if the air quality index isn't high enough that I shouldn't be out there at all, but I can still go out there, I will find that I wheeze, I cough more, and depending on how bad it is, I bring a bandana to breathe through. Summer is also hotter in temperature, but for me, I don't know, I've adapted. It doesn't bother me. That doesn't mean that it won't bother you. I mean, I run in a hoodie year round. You'll see me in 90-degree heat wearing a hoodie running 10, 15, 20 miles. I don't recommend you doing this. Check with your healthcare professional. I'm just saying that my body has adapted so that heat doesn't really affect me. Now, dryness does, and we'll dig deeper into that later in this episode. Depending on where you live, it might be really humid in the summer. And while humidity can cause you to sweat a lot, it can be harder to breathe because it's thick, the humidity is actually good for your lungs and asthma. This is why you need to be aware of how your body responds to different seasons throughout the year. Next, fall I equate to cold season. Not cold as in it's cold. It does get colder, but cold equals, hey, it's time to get your flu shot. Cold equals this change from really hot to cooler. Fall equals going back to school. The kids are getting each other sick. I wish it wasn't true, but at some point during the fall, I at least get the sniffles of some sort, even though I'm healthy and good at fighting these things off. Fall equals cold season. My asthma specifically really only affects me when I'm sick. I really am trying not to have to use my inhaler when I'm sick, but I have every time in the past few years. It is really the only time that I have to do it. Now, there are times during summer where if it's very smoky outside for multiple days in a row, I will find that I'll need to use my inhaler. But the fall cold season probably affects my asthma the most. When I'm sick, I like to continue to work out. There are a lot of benefits of it. I have multiple videos and podcast episodes all about it. But that's one thing in the fall I continue to do is to work out. I also make sure that I'm taking vitamin C. And my favorite thing is to have lemon in my water, especially in the morning. All of this can help protect you from cold season. At least it has helped me, especially working out has helped me. But I've heard from many people that when they're sick, they have no desire to work out and think it can make it worse. So you got to be aware of how you and your body feel and see if this works for you. And lastly, winter equals cold, as in temperature, and dry, at least where I live in Colorado. No matter where you live, you may experience dryness because when it's cold, we run our heat. And depending on what kind of heater you have, you may not have a humidifier set up either as part of your heater or separate from your heater to counteract dryness. Dryness is the opposite of what our lungs want. Our lungs need to be moist. When I'm in a humid area, I may be sweating, but my lungs are happy. When I was sick as a kid, I would use a nebulizer, which is basically a mask that goes on my face, and it pumped moisture, water vapor, medicine through humidity into my lungs to make me feel better. That's why whenever I get sick, I will actually put the shower on hot, sit in the shower or sit next to the shower and breathe in the humidity. That's why we like to run a humidifier year round. Especially in the winter, I highly recommend you get a humidifier that tells you the humidity level of the room or rooms that it serves. I like to keep my humidifier set to 60% humidity. And basically how it works is when it's turned on, it'll make sure that it's at 60% humidity, and then it'll turn off, then turn back on, then it'll turn off. So I like to do this to keep the house from getting too dry, which really helps my asthma. If it's cold, the air outside can be harmful to your lungs. If it's too cold outside, what you want to be doing is breathing through your nose, so nose breathing, to warm up the air, and or bring some sort of neck warmer, something for you to breathe through. By integrating these, your winters should be a lot better with asthma. Now, if you want to take this to the next level, I have my 3 pillars of healthy living guide for you: movement, tracking, and accountability. In less than a couple of minutes, you'll learn about these 3 pillars and start integrating them into your life. You can grab your Healthy Living Guide in the description below or in the show notes if you're listening to this as a podcast. Or go to athletewithasthma.com/healthy-living-guide to grab your free copy today. I'll see you in the next episode.